am back. Welcome back, everybody. Patch, 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 patch. Okay, all right. So I did have some other videos I wanted to do today while I'm at it. I'm debating on one of them if I should do them or not because it's so long, but I think I want to. This is the controversial visual novel that is too explicit to play. I'm so excited for this one. I'm so excited for this one. Oh my god. This one is by reddolichee. I don't know how to pronounce it. Reddolichee, blah something too. Yeah, that person. Thank you to them for making this video. I'm assuming it's going to be a wonderful deep dive into all of this. Okay, so this is going to be pretty explicit. I hope everybody's okay with this. I'm excited. Ready? 3, 2, 1, whap! Pickle, close your eyes. ASMR.
Yeah, what would you do if one day you wake up in a strange place, a device is strapped to your neck and you're asked to participate in a deadly game that involves you doing something terrible to the woman around you? Failure to comply means death. That is exactly what Euphoria is about. Developed by ClockUp.
Man, okay. Euphoria. Euphoria. It has been a bit since I've interacted with the Euphoria franchise. I think it should be obvious that I know what the fuck Euphoria is. Of course, seen all the little animations. I think who hasn't seen like Euphoria the animation, right? Man, it's basically Saw, but it's like you got to do like sex stuff. It's some parts of it are really fucked up, but it's one of those things you just kind of like have to go through. It's when you like you're growing up and you watch things like Two Guys One Horse or One Guy One Cup or like Ghost Rider or something, right? It's just something you find on the internet or Goatse even. And it's like, okay, yeah, I guess I've seen that now. I know of it because it's internet culture. I think for a lot of weeb stuff, at least like the older school weeb stuff, Euphoria is also much like that. Like Sayo no Uta used to be like that, and then it's like became very mainstream. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see where this goes. All right, yeah. Let's do it. I want to see that cool like noose scene where they have like the noose little machine where he's got to like pull it to bounce him up and down. Looking awesome.
Been released in 2011 in Japan, Euphoria tells the story of Takato Keisuke, who one day found himself waking up inside a facility with 6 other women and was forced to participate in a deadly life and death game. The game was remastered in 2015, and then 8 months later, Manga Gamer released the official English translation, making the game available for a global audience. Now, what I'm describing is the surface level of what this game has to offer, because truth to be told, Euphoria is more than that. This game is not for the weak, as it contains stuff that even I personally couldn't handle. So as a warning,
yeah, there's a lot of shit in this.
Planning on eating while watching this, please
now let's do it.
This while eating.
Got my snacks right here, my Albanese gummy bears. Excited.
Euphoria opens with Takato Keisuke waking up in a white facility room. A strange device is strapped around his neck. At first, it appears to be a monitor for vital signs, but later we learn it serves a
the entire like
purpose.
Thing takes place in this weird facility.
Who changes clothes? Since the last thing he remembers is falling.
It's almost like it's an excuse to not have to draw real backgrounds all the time. Plus, it fits the setting, so that's fine. Actually, there's a couple where they're like other scenes. I think there's one where it's like they're in like a school classroom and stuff like that. Yeah, I think most of the show, at least from what I've seen, is like that. I have seen a bunch of the visual novel stuff. Of course, it's been years since I've interacted with any of this, so I actually don't remember a lot of it. I'm interested to get back into checking it out. Does anybody? Okay, hold on. Before I do that, not saying that me myself, would ever go to a weird website and have to download the entirety of Fate Stay Night that also had like a weird fan translation bullshit and multiple parts, and then figure out how to assemble the game yourself together to make it function properly, right? Not saying I would ever do that back in like 2016 or 15 or whatever, because I couldn't afford the Fate Stay Night series on, yeah. Not saying I would ever, but does anybody else remember ever having to do that with a lot of these games? Because there was actually a period of time where like they weren't popular enough here to really have access to or even have real translations. Like there is so many just bullshit translations on these things. I don't know if anyone remembers that, if anybody's old enough to remember having to do stuff like that, because a lot of the stores have been around for a decent while, but it's become way more accessible over the years. So that's pretty cool for me.
Asleep in his
Not for me,
underwear.
for everyone else,
The red light
not
above
just
the
me.
door turns green. Keisuke walks through and enters another white room. This time, he's not alone. Here, we're introduced to 6 other characters: Kanae Hokari, Keisuke's childhood friend; Rika Makiba, the annoying parasite, Keisuke and Kanae's underclassman.
Is the childhood friend the one you spank until she like
and silent
dies almost?
Byakuya, the English teacher Natsuki Aoi, and finally the popular and mysterious girl Manaka Nemu. All of them came from the same place, Rokuke-kan Academy. Once the characters have gathered, a voice announced that they are now participating in a game.
Okay, so I think Euphoria is also another one of those franchises where you'll see it on Twitter or something and people, it's like Azumanga Daioh. Like for whatever reason, Azumanga Daioh is everywhere, but nobody's actually ever watched it. You'll see people have like accounts based on like Osaka or something, and they don't know her name is actually like Ayumu Kasuga instead of actually being named Osaka. And I also feel like Euphoria might also be one of those other things to where it's like, it's just in the same places I would see like girls have these Song of Saya or Saya Uta like profile pictures, some shit. It's just shared because it's known to be controversial and weird, or it's known to be like really edgy. I don't know. Maybe there's more of it now than there was before, right? Because Euphoria, like on the internet, was only hard focused into very specific parts, like or places that I would know, like people would actually talk about it. Like occasionally, maybe you'd see like show up on 4chan or something, but I don't know. There's a lot more of it now, and I don't quite believe as much of it as like maybe I would used to, because these spaces are so much more open now.
Rules are simple. Their objective is to unlock 5 sealed doors in order to reach the surface and escape. Each participant is assigned one of the 2 roles, an unlocker or a keyhole.
Cool.
These roles are determined by biological sex. Those with XY chromosomes become unlockers, while those with XX chromosome are keyholes.
I'm the unlocker.
But by looking at the names of the roles given, it doesn't take a genius to figure out that only males can be unlocker and only females can be the keyholes. After the explanation ends, Miyako bursts into rage, likely overwhelmed by the stress and tension of the
She the one that's in the electric...
She refused to take part.
Like it's electrocuted in the weird chair.
Calm her down since they know their life is on the line, but Miyako wouldn't listen. To her, this is just some horrific prank or a very cruel joke.
That electric chair seems fucking awesome.
That failed as well. She's too agitated, and honestly, can you blame her? When you're the only male in the room full of women and your assigned role is to unlock them, it's hard to seem trustworthy, especially when everything about this situation seemed designed to benefit you. So Miyako makes a fatal choice. She declares that she's quitting the game.
She's not wrong.
The voice acknowledged her statement and asked her once again to confirm it. Miyako, still ignorant of their situation, repeats that she wants out. Suddenly, the room goes dark. A few seconds later, the light returns, but Miyako is gone. As everyone frantically searches for her, the door in front of them suddenly unlocks. All of them enters the next room, and here we witness the first death of the game. In front of them is Miyako, strapped to an electric chair.
Yeah, she is the one that in the electric chair.
Voice making her unable to speak aside from making a whimpering noise. The voice returns, explaining to the group that Miyako's crime was refusal to participate. Her punishment? Death by electrocution. It's not a pretty sight. It
she like
for a few minutes,
pisses herself and stuff too. It's fucking brutal.
The next room opens. Horrified by what they just witnessed and desperate not to share her fate, the rest of the group immediately proceed through. That was a brutal start. But as disturbing as Miyako's death was, it's only the beginning. Things get much worse from here. While the others are still processing what just happened, Keisuke quietly slips away and returns to the room where Miyako was executed. Just as he is about to do something unthinkable, Nemu appeared behind him and hugs him. Keisuke is stunned. At first, he thought she's trying to be intimate, but he quickly realized the horrifying truth. Nemu saw everything, and now she's threatening to expose him to Kanae.
Yeah, was he gonna like jerk off on her or something?
Horrified. Kanae is his childhood friend. She is someone he deeply cherished like a family. The thought of her discovering his sick, perverted desire would destroy him. But Nemu didn't care any of that. She finally got something that she can use to blackmail him. Nemu agrees to keep his secret under one condition. He must grant her request.
Where's my blackmailing wife?
Keisuke agrees. To seal the deal, she asks for a kiss. Keisuke hesitated but complies, only to spot Kanae watching them when she enters the room. Her expression was pure shock. He immediately pulls away, desperate to explain the situation, but Nemu stops him and just gave him a sinister smile. She refused to let him go and resolve his
Look at that face. Look at that little face.
Nemu decided to come here and make her first request.
She's such a little shit. I love it.
Keisuke obviously refused since he doesn't want Kanae to experience any of this sick game, but keep in mind of that first request as we will get back to it much later in the video. For now, the voice returns to announce the start of the second deadly game. Side note, if you're not on Rika's route, prepare yourself. She's going to be extremely annoying. The voice tells Keisuke to choose a keyhole. From here, the game splits into 4 possible routes. Before we go deeper, let's talk about how the system works. Keisuke must complete 5 turns to clear the game. To enter a specific girl's route, he must choose the same girl repeatedly during those 5 turns. Once he did that, the story branches off based on that route. Now you can explore every route if you want the full story, but if you're aiming for the quickest path to the true ending, then just pick Nemu. Picking Nemu as your first route isn't necessarily a mistake. In fact,
I would pick Nemu.
Route, you can still understand the story of Euphoria because
don't even have to ask.
Ending only provide bits and pieces of what's happening in the game world, but the real ending is through Nemu's route. Rine's route is the only one that loosely ties into Nemu's route, but even if you didn't go through all of the route and just went straight to Nemu's route, since it led to the true ending, you'll still understand what Euphoria's true story is all about.
Okay, that's a good explanation by him. Thank you for that.
Subjecting myself to 15 hours of torture.
I like that he included that at the beginning. That's very well done. A lot of people would put that at the end, and like an hour-long video, that sucks.
Before we proceed, I want you all to know that the story of Euphoria is pretty much the same in every route. The only difference is what kind of punishments will be inflicted to the characters in their specific route. So to tell the story without spoiling too much of the plot twist, we will start with Natsuki. There's 2 reasons for this decision. 1, her punishment isn't too over the top. It's still considered tame compared to the other routes. In fact, the stuff that she went through as the game progressed is still tolerable compared to what the other girls went through. So it's a perfect place to start the game.
Cool.
And 2, you're not gonna miss anything important since the story progression is pretty identical until we reach a certain part of the game. And by that point, you pretty much know the gist of what Euphoria is quote unquote supposed to be before the big plot twist. So with that out of the way, we can finally begin. After thinking it through, Keisuke chooses Natsuki and enters a stark white room, where a box appeared in front of him. When opened, it reveals a set of instructions detailing how he should punish the selected participant. This punishment will get more and more extreme when we progress through the other routes, which is why selecting Natsuki first is the best option. After completing the first turn, Keisuke and the other get 30 minutes to rest before the next round.
This is a character style I'm not too crazy for. Like, okay, so I do have an odd thing for like a woman in business suits kind of look, but this facial style she has, I'm not too crazy for it. Like the weird like full lip look and like how like the rounded glasses are. I don't know how to say it. The weird, sexy bitchy teacher look. Like this one isn't my favorite. There are many others, but this one's fine if you like this one. I'm just saying it's not my thing.
After completing the first turn, Keisuke and the other get 30 minutes to rest before the next round. During this break,
a whole 30
to
minutes.
explore the room for any provided necessities. It takes him a few minutes to realize they're given only the bare minimum. The toilet is just a bucket and the only drinking water was lukewarm and was also put in a bucket. They're treated like animals here. Yet one room stands out. Through the glass window, he sees a lavish chandelier-lit interior and a table set with extravagant food. This is the VIP room, accessible only by
be in the VIP
bonus turn. Thankfully, the bonus turn's punishment is not too terrible, but I can't help but feel that it's only designed that way to give us the player a breathing room, because after that, the torture escalated. With a few minutes left, Keisuke returns to the room where Miyako died, only to find it empty as if no one had ever been there. As he wonders how they hide her body, Nemu appeared and started asking him about how he felt forcing himself on the girls. She threatened to expose his true nature to Kanae unless he complies with her demand. Reluctantly, Keisuke agrees. Nemu, thrilled with the replies, tell him to pick the same girl for the next 4 turn, promising something incredible will happen. After some tense back and
He's just a degenerate.
the voice announced the start of the second
Who
game.
amongst you would be a degenerate?
Once the second game wraps up, we're hit with an uncomfortable scene of Rika desperately wanting to use the bathroom. The issue here is that her attitude is overly annoying. Everyone around her told her that she needs to use the bucket because they have no toilets there. But Rika decided to throw a tantrum instead of being cooperative. Now if you think how she acted here was annoying, then the next scene will make you want to slap this girl.
Hell yeah.
Announced
The game's about.
game
Let's do it.
promising to access the VIP room for participant. Natsuki, being the caring teacher she is, prioritizes her students' well-being and decides to join. Keisuke, on the other hand, has awakened his darker impulses, craving for more pleasure, so he signs up. As I mentioned earlier, the bonus game's punishment are relatively tame. It always favors the girls. These moments are the only times the girls either enjoy their interaction with Keisuke since they're in control. Regardless of the
Just like me, for real, for real. The only time a woman in my presence would ever enjoy it is if they're in control. It feels bad.
outcome, both end up feeling fulfilled. Once the bonus game concludes, Rika rushes towards Keisuke and pulls out the most irritating behavior ever. She gleefully points out the VIP room is now open, hinting she wants in. Excuse me? Let's not forget, Keisuke and Natsuki did all of the heavy lifting to keep everyone alive, and this girl thinks she can just waltz in?
Yeah,
At this
it do
point,
be like
Rika's
that.
officially a parasite. Her cutesy act doesn't fool me. She's leeching off all of their effort.
It would fool
But
me.
Natsuki,
Just
being the
saying, if someone wants to try
selfless
it.
teacher she is, relinquished her rights to the VIP room. This woman, who's been doing all the hard work and hasn't even showered yet, she gives up her chance for Rika's sake.
Why are we adding the
That's not
shower
infuriating
part
enough.
in?
Nemu jumps in, claiming her own right to the room. But surely,
It only makes
they'll
the
appreciate
experience more
Natsuki's
pungent.
kind gesture, right? I mean, surely Rika would appreciate that, right? Oh boy, I wish that was the case.
Yeah.
At night, Natsuki and Keisuke witness Rine wakes up and enter the room where Miyako died. She seemed to be looking for something. This will be explained later in her route, but for now, it doesn't mean much to us. Nothing else happened after that, and we proceed to the next day. Now, remember when I mentioned Rika being annoying? This is where she really shows it.
Okay.
After finishing the third and fourth round, the bonus round was announced. As usual, both Keisuke and Natsuki participate. When they finished and heard the announcement that the VIP room was open, Rika shamelessly told everyone how glad she was to finally rest, completely ignoring that it was Keisuke and Natsuki's hard work that opened that room. When Kanai suggested
It's crazy calling it hard work.
Rika had the audacity to guilt trip them. Honestly, if you're not annoyed and angry at this parasite by this point, there's something wrong with you.
Nah, I'm
Of
okay.
course, Nemu agrees with her. She loved getting under his skin. But Keisuke ignored them and went straight into the VIP room before those parasites could say anything else. Inside the VIP
How nice that room
Keisuke
is.
noticed something strange. As he was talking
There's
to
a bed in
Natsuki,
there
the
and
food
some good
behind them
food.
suddenly disappeared. This baffled both of them. How could it vanish like that? This is where the collars around their neck comes into play. As mentioned earlier, the collars do more than just measure vitality. They can manipulate perception and consciousness. This is how Miyako's body managed to disappear. Keisuke comes to the conclusion that the game master must have manipulated his perception into seeing something else. There's more to this, but explaining further would spoil the true ending, so we'll leave it at now. After this, Natsuki and Keisuke talk a bit more, and this is when Natsuki discovered that Keisuke was being blackmailed by Nemu. She didn't
No
know
way.
the exact detail because Keisuke wouldn't tell her. I mean, I don't blame him. Imagine telling the teacher that you're being blackmailed because someone found out about your sick and twisted fetish of being aroused.
That's just school, though. I mean, like, I can't imagine being told onto the teacher, hey, I need to let you know I was jorking it over someone's body, and then this girl blackmailed me, so I gotta tell you first. I'm gonna get in out.
By the sight of dead bodies. Who knows what her reaction would be. Natsuki offered help, but Keisuke declined, not wanting to jeopardize everything and risk Kanai finding out what happened to him. With only one game left, she decided to keep it a secret until the very end. The next day, we were treated to another annoying scene of Rika being overly childish. The morning starts with Rika asking for a sandwich from the VIP
Rika
room.
did nothing
This caught
wrong.
Keisuke by surprise because there was no sandwich in the room at all. He asked Nemu if this was true, and it turned out it was. Apparently, the game master had provided a box containing enough sandwich for everyone. Now, I know what everyone's thinking. If there were so many sandwiches, why didn't the other mention them yesterday? You guessed it. Rika ate them all. When
Rika, you
confronted,
bitch.
she justified it by saying that they were a present from Nemu and she was
It's my
entitled
only
to
healing
them
item.
all. This ungrateful parasite thinks the whole world revolves around her and that she deserves to be treated nicely, completely forgetting that they're in a death game. Surprisingly, Keisuke remained tolerant. He wanted to ask her if she noticed anything strange during her stay in the VIP room, but this piece of shit just ran away, accusing Keisuke of hiding the food. Listen here, you little shit. After the fifth game ended, relief started to sink in as everyone felt confident that they had finished and could finally leave. However, as they waited in front of the door, they noticed that it didn't open. The monitor light up, revealing that they had to wait 3 hours before the lock was released. With nothing else to do, Keisuke talked to everyone before accompanying Kanae.
She's so cute. I like her little style. It's very, very cute. God, do you imagine not only being like locked in a room and then being told you're in a death game, and then maybe people who are like, okay, we all know you're a creepy weirdo or you're into like dead bodies and stuff or this punishment shit. And just knowing it, I don't know how, like, would you ever feel uncomfortable about that? I'd assume most people would, right? Or I don't know. This sounds like a weird thing now, but if I really think about the people I've ever hung out with or known, like on Discord or VR chat or something, these are just normal conversations. Maybe the shame is no longer there. There are too many groups on the internet now dedicated to all this stuff. I don't know. I don't know if I could be in a chat and be like, hey guys, I'm sorry, but I'm like really into the whole like dead body thing. It's just like, it's like my thing, right? But I don't know. It would take a lot for people to probably be okay with that. You can tell this is a game from an older era before like we just started mass degeneracy on the open.
Who looked tired for some reason. He stayed by her side and unexpectedly fell asleep next to her. When he woke up, the place was eerily quiet. As he searched from room to room, he couldn't find anyone. Had they abandoned him? Keisuke checked the time and his blood ran cold. The numbers were going up. It wasn't a countdown at all. He rushed to the exit door and saw the light had long turned green and the door was slightly ajar. When he entered, a voice spoke to him and congratulated him. Now it was time to start another game. Keisuke felt
Yay!
welling up. He had just escaped a dead game and now they wanted him to play another one, but he didn't have the luxury
It's New
of
Game Plus.
as the voice revealed that he needed to rescue everyone. The voice did give him a handicap. Even if someone died, he could still proceed. That's kind of ominous, but okay. I just hope the first
I get a freebie is what you're saying.
put in a dangerous situation.
Feels bad.
Oh, come on. Inside the tank, Keisuke saw an unconscious Natsuki chained to a stone cross. The voice told him that he had limited time to save her and to make things hard.
What's the thing in Higurashi? The like the cult shit that they do when they have them chained up and they have to like put a nail through each one of like the like joints in their fingers or some shit like that. I don't know why. That reminds me of that scene. There's a lot of little things like Higurashi that I think about when I also think of Euphoria, but that one specifically, like just seeing her chained up like that reminds me of that.
The lever was charged with an electric current that increased in voltage the more he pulls in. Keisuke tried his hardest and managed to move it slightly, despite the electric current slowly destroying his hand. This is enough for him to believe that he'll be able to save his teacher, but just as he celebrated this small victory, a blast of electricity surged through his hand. It turns out the voice had increased the voltage to its maximum, leaving Keisuke momentarily paralyzed.
They really like their electricity stuff, huh?
Helplessly as the water filled the
There's a lot of little electric play.
He had failed to save his teacher. As he slipped into unconsciousness, he heard Natsuki's voice urging him to not give up. Miraculously, this gave him strength. As he stood, the voice announced that he had failed to save one person, and as if it was mocking him, it told him to do better next time, and opened the door
Yeah,
to
do
the
better.
next room. The next person was Nemu, pinned to a wall with a bowgun aimed at her. Honestly,
Cool.
this was a perfect opportunity to let her die.
Just saying, straps are pretty cool.
Secret is safe. But at the last second before the timer hit 0, Keisuke shielded her and switched off the device.
Oh, he took the
her
hit.
breath. Though he saved her, she offered no thanks beyond patching up his bleeding arm. The two
The
formed a
fuck?
temporary truce and Keisuke
Imagine taking a knife for somebody. But Pensy, I don't want to hear your bullshit. Huh? Yeah, imagine taking a knife for someone and then you're like, yeah, whatever, I guess. It's like, I don't know why, it reminds me of Starship Troopers, where the guy is like told to put his hand up on the wall and he tosses the knife in. I love that scene. It reminds me of that. Ah, Nemu's awesome. Look at her. Look at her stern little face. She's so cool. I love her. Look at her. Pensy, you can't fucking judge me.
asked for help in saving the others, while Nemu reluctantly agrees to. Next, they save Rine, who was bound and gagged on a guillotine. To save her, Keisuke had to prevent the blade from dropping past a certain point, which was no easy task since the rope was wrapped in barbed wire. The third person was Kane, locked inside a cylindrical tank with a ticking time bomb. To free her, they had to solve a complex equation.
All right, I mean, come on. A guillotine, like, is so much more of an interesting device than a fucking time bomb. Come on. You do more than just put her in a cage and put a time bomb in it. Dude, really? Put a goddamn bomb with that. That sucks. That's so lame.
I love this part because the way they solve it is pretty damn amazing. Nemo began reciting the Latin phrases Omnis una manet nox, dum spero, per angusta ad augusta.
What's una nox? I don't think I know what that means. I know dum spero is like as I live I breathe or something like that. Per angusta de augusta. Spera ad paradisium. I don't think I know the rest of it. I just know the dum spero part. Okay. I need to learn other languages. I think it would be beneficial for me to learn other languages like that. Japan loves their Latin. They love their German a lot. So it probably would be more beneficial to get deep in there with that.
Per aspero ad paradisum. I apologize if I butchered that sentence. These Latin phrases appear in the rule of the death game. Anyway, after writing down the Latin word, they converted them to numerals and were supposed to count each word, but Rene interrupted and told them the correct answer was paradisum. You might be wondering why that specific word, but all will be revealed soon, so keep that in mind. After assigning numerical value to the letter paradisum, they calculated and got the number 1193 as the answer. They then added the digit individually to get 14, and then added those two digits again to get the final answer 5. After entering that,
don't ever ask me to do math. Don't you dare ever ask me to do math. It's only gotten worse over time. Like, I used to be really good at math. When I was in school, math was one of my best subjects. And then because like leaving school, I just did manufacturing the entire time and we didn't really need math. The only time I needed math was when we were like building houses and I had to make sure I did measurements properly. But it's been so long since I've done that my brain is rotted. I just can't do math now. I unironically need help when it's like, okay, I get my little calculator out, figure this out. Even when I'm doing commission shit and I have to figure out prices for stuff, it is sad. It is sad and awful. Don't ever ask me to do it. It makes me sad. Especially puzzles. Puzzles too. I have a thing where like I want to play a lot of games because I like a bunch of games, and when I'm doing puzzles by myself, I don't have an issue, but I get such bad like performance anxiety when there's even the simplest of puzzles in a game and I'm live that it causes me to freak out. Like there is a part in mouthwashing where all I had to do was walk across the room and pick up like the fire hydrant or some shit like that. And I like lost my mind over that. I was so panicked just because I thought, oh my God, there's a puzzle. I'm gonna look stupid. I can't do this. It sucks. It sucks a lot.
Kanae was released and they proceed to the final door. As soon as they entered, Rika's loud scream can be heard. She is inside a glass box that slowly squashed her to death. The condition to save her is pretty simple. Pick someone or hurt yourself. Kanae initially volunteered to be the one getting hit, but Keisuke didn't want that. Seeing that Rika was dying because of her indecisiveness, Nemu stands in front of him and starts cursing at him while also throwing punches in his face. Since Keisuke was already pissed off at Nemu from the very beginning,
yeah, doesn't he beat the shit out of her?
Beat her until she's unconscious.
Yeah, I remember that part.
At that moment, the voice congratulates him and release Rika. However,
God damn it. God damn it. I'm such a terrible person. I'm such a terrible person. I can't. First off, there's two parts to what I'm about to say. Please don't take this the wrong way, please. Like, just seeing her beat up. There's a like an old meme I've seen where it's something like, what is your workout playlist? And it's just 10 hours of women crying. And I don't know why I think of that joke a lot. And for some reason, seeing Nemu beat to shit, it reminds me of that. Yeah, I remember her getting beat to shit part. There's actually a lot here I have forgotten because like I have seen a lot this whole story through, and I don't quite remember the ending because it's been like, oh God, how long ago is like 2016 or 17? Right, it's been a bit. Man, I'll speak squished to death. I don't know what would be worse between being blown up and squished to death, because I feel like being squished is slow and awful and you feel everything in your body erupting and crushing. That would be a brutal, awful way to go. I would rather be like shot. I would hope that you would shoot me instead of doing the old like mafia thing. What's the old mafia like trope of you have like the car lot and you're crushing cars and you put the guy in the car you're gonna crush, like that kind of thing. Being crushed to death seems like a really raw deal.
Instead of thanking him, she ran towards Nemu, crying like a little bitch while making that dumbass happy-looking face. Once they were fully rested,
happy face
they made their way into the
all out.
They kept running until they spotted a large metal door. Working together, they opened the door and arrived in what appears to be an underground
That's a
tunnel.
good pose. I like that
Kanai
pose.
immediately pointed out that the exit was not far from their location. Keisuke wasted no
She's
time
so cute.
to press forward, but as he continues, his vision begins to blur and he eventually passed out. After some time, Keisuke woke up in what
Me on my way
appears
to the
be an
toilet after
underground
Taco
bunker,
Bell.
stocked with enough food and water for someone to survive there. He didn't know how long he had been unconscious, but he knew he had to find Kanai and the others. A nearby ladder led him to a forest. Stepping into the open air, Keisuke observed his surrounding and realized the facility where they were held captive was near their school. Relieved,
Oh my god. I don't know why this. God, I keep doing this thing where it reminds me of shit. It's like the dumb alien thing from Higurashi. Just seeing the kind of like okay art, the visual novel style art for this in the backgrounds, it really, really reminds me of the alien scene from Higurashi. Why is there an alien part of Higurashi? Why is that there? Why? What out of all this shit they added to that series, why that one?
to know they had been so close all along, he continued walking until he found a cave and entered it. While exploring, he heard voices and quickly hid himself. The voice belongs to two students in robe attire discussing a meeting. Intrigued,
It's the
Keisuke
Bible
disguised
Black
himself as
Gang.
one of the robe students and headed to the meeting place. There, he saw Rine dressed in a priest-like outfit. This will be explained in her route, but for now, all you need to know is that Rine was running a cult. After she delivered a cult-like speech, she tasked a few students with clearing a blockage near the meeting place. From their conversation, Keisuke learned what Rine was searching for on the second night when they saw her. She was looking for an exit. The student dug further and uncovered a door leading back to the facility. While the others rushed to inform
Feels
Rine,
bad.
Keisuke slipped inside.
Imagine leaving and then you go back to
Honestly,
that.
what is it with this guy's obsession with dead bodies? Unfortunately, he didn't
Listen.
find her, but what he discovered was far worse. On a monitor, he saw female students from his school being assaulted by the male student, with Nemu at the center of the chaos, laughing maniacally and staring directly at the monitor. As if she knew
I love
Keisuke
Nemu.
was watching, she declares that she had taken over the school and held Kanai as a prisoner. Rage surged within him and he ran as fast as he could to the school. When he arrived, Nemu revealed another shocking truth. Natsuki is still alive and she used her as bait to lure Keisuke away. This is where things became a little bit disgusting. Nemu ordered Keisuke to teacher if he wanted to save Kanai. With no other choice, Keisuke complied, but at this point, Natsuki was bleeding from you know where. I feel sick just writing this.
Yeah, it feels bad.
And it's not the worst part of the story, but it's undeniably grotesque. After that horrific ordeal, Nemu, surprise surprise, lied and locked both Natsuki and Keisuke in a classroom. This turned out to be a blessing in disguise as it gave both of them time to plan their escape. Keisuke learned that Natsuki had ties to an outside organization that provided her with key details. She knew where Kanai was being held and explained more about the collars around their neck. Apparently, when Nemu took over the school, she gained control
That's
of
nice.
the collar,
That's cool that she
effectively
knows.
holding their lives in her hands. The two devised a plan to save Kanai using an attack by Rine's cult group as a distraction. I forgot to mention earlier, but while Keisuke was in the cave, Rine's cult was planning to take over the school and overthrow Nemu. Using this chaos as cover, Keisuke rescued Kanai and the three of them escaped the school. After that, the story jumps forward 1 year, showing Keisuke and Natsuki on the beach. A flashback reveals what happened after their escape. Natsuki took Kanai to a hospital to recover while she and Keisuke boarded a plane to flee the area.
It's such a weird, like, yeah, here's the good ending. We all lived and went happily ever after. It's like very like Shawshank. Yeah, we just met on a beach somewhere. Man, uh, man, it's so such Japanese thing to do. There's so many of these fucking visual novels that are like super fucked up, and they'll just like get over themselves afterwards. Oh my god. It was a Space Pirate Sarah. Like the whole Space Pirate Sarah series is just like her going through some shit, and then the end of it's like, oh yeah, we're good, right? Oh god, what's god? I'm forgetting the name of it. There's one of them where it's a like it's a news reporter lady. She's kidnapped and made to do a lot of stuff in like a dungeon. And then the end of it is just like, oh yeah, I'm here to save you. I killed the guy that was doing all that stuff to you for the past 5 episodes. Let's leave. They just have such this huge like anticlimactic climactic, yeah, we just saved you bits.
The route ends with Natsuki enjoying her time at the beach, growing intimate with Keisuke, who has now officially become her lover.
Cool. I'd call that a win.
We're now starting Rika's route. One thing to note for the other route is that the story progression remains largely the same. There are some added dialogues here and there, but nothing significant enough to alter the overall story until we get to the underground bunker, which serve as the turning point for each character's route. Rika's route is probably the most interesting one I've experienced, second only to Nemu's. If I had to summarize her route, it would be a slow mental decline, humiliation, and mind break. At the start,
I like those
Rika
tags.
appears as an innocent girl, but her spoiled, obnoxious behavior makes her insufferable if you don't follow her route. That's why in the first half of the game, I genuinely despise her. She topped my hate list. So when I played her route, I expected a plot twist, something that reveals a hidden depth. Like she was only acting that way to gain attention and that deep down she's actually has a different side to her. But that never came. This is her true self, an annoying, self-centered, overly selfish, childish girl.
Feels
At
bad.
least, that's what I thought during the first half of her route. After enduring the first 3 punishments, Rika began showing signs of breaking down. To cope with whatever was happening to her, she tried convincing Keisuke that he liked her, which is why he kept choosing her. This was clearly not true, and when Keisuke denies it, Rika broke down completely, blaming him for everything.
Usual woman confession. I hate to say it. It's oh my god. Like, I don't know if you've seen like the female dating strategy from Shoe Head, where it's like ask somebody out, they reject you, and it's kill yourself, you have a small pee, nobody will ever love you, jump off a bridge. And it's like just 100 messages of that. It's just exactly how it goes. Average rejection.
The real turning point came during the second bonus round where things got truly interesting. Remember when I said that both round always favors both participant? Not for Rika. During her bonus round, she was taken to the VIP room, a paradise for her, a place to escape the horrors of the punishment game.
It looks like a really nice
Keisuke
meal.
destroys that sanctuary. He did this because the requirement to win the bonus round was for her to eat the food inside the VIP room covered in his special white sauce. I don't think I need to explain what that
You know what? I'm not gonna expose myself. That you know what? No, I shouldn't say it. I shouldn't say it. I shouldn't say these things. Okay. I'm becoming too much of a degenerate on Twitch. This is too much. I need to stop speaking. I'm sorry. We're gonna keep going.
meant, but you get the idea. That was the final straw. Rika snapped, uttering the word, "I hate you." From that moment, her demeanor changed drastically. She became cold towards everyone, abandoning her usual high-pitched voice for a low, detached tone.
Have you ever heard a girl when she's hungry and angry? This is just normal.
She rejected everyone and stopped caring entirely. Since Rika's route follows a similar progression to the previous one, I'll skip to the part where she was placed inside a glass box and slowly crushed to death. When we get to the part where we must save her from being slowly crushed to death, the group went through the same process of saving everyone. But when it comes to Rika, Keisuke faced a critical choice that determined her fate. If he hesitated, the game presented one of the most uncomfortable scenes ever. As Rika was slowly crushed, Keisuke realized he loved her and regretted not confessing sooner. But instead of feeling guilt, Keisuke was having dirty thoughts about her.
Yeah.
In the end, watch her get crushed.
Average
as he
man.
realized that he loves her all this time. If Keisuke didn't hesitate, Rika survived and the story progressed to the underground bunker. This time, instead of waking up alone, Keisuke found Rika beside him. She told him that after he blacked out, she initially wanted to leave him, but since he saved her, she decided to take care of him while he was unconscious. Realizing
Aw, that's
this
very
feeling,
nice.
Keisuke confessed to her and the two shared an intimate moment. Afterward, he asked about Kanae's whereabouts and learned it had been several days since Rika last saw her. The game then continued normally until the part where Nemu revealed herself as the mastermind and captured Keisuke and Rika. This is where things play out differently from the previous route. Both of them were taken to a classroom where Rika was allowed to stay with him. They shared another intimate moment before Keisuke told Rika to escape while he went to
I'm
save
sorry.
Kanae.
I'm staying quiet. I'm just so invested into this too. This is neat. I'm enjoying watching this. This is neat. Okay. All right. We're good.
After rescuing Kanae, Keisuke ran towards the cellar where Rika was waiting, but before he could reach it, he was attacked by an unknown woman in a black suit. In Nemu's route, we later learn she works for
I
Nemu,
would be okay
and
being
she's the
attacked by
reason
an
why
unknown
Nemu
woman
was
in a
able
black
to
suit.
take over the school. Nemu then brought all 3 of them to the school rooftop for a twisted game.
Their little face, I love
Kanae
her.
or
What a shitty little
Rika.
face.
Knowing Keisuke would likely choose Kanae, Rika decided to take her own life to spare him from the guilt. But Keisuke saw through her intention, reassured her everything would be fine and charged at Nemu. Rika was horrified. She knew that Nemu's bodyguard could easily kill him. In a desperate act to save him, she jumped to her death. Keisuke witnessed this, broke down in disbelief. The game then offered us a choice: retrieve and bury her body or just leave it. The correct one was to bury her. Choosing this, Keisuke rushed to the school ground expecting to find Rika's mangled body but found
That's awesome.
no trace of her at all. Suddenly, the unknown woman who attacked him appeared and declared that he had cleared the game. Confused, Keisuke tried to ask a question, but his vision darkened and he woke up in a hospital with Rika by his side.
He truly was the man who
Time
sold the
skip showing
world.
Keisuke and Rika on a date, acting like lovers. We're now starting Rine's route, one of my favorite because it reveals so much about her character, and the plot twist at the end just left me stunned. At the start of Euphoria, Rine appears distant and cold towards everyone, but she never fully rejected them, including Keisuke. In every route, no matter how harsh the punishment Keisuke inflicts on a girl, Rine understands it's not his fault. She's also the only one who tries to be friends with Rika. This later becomes a problem as it makes Rika overly dependent on her, turning her into a yandere with romantic feelings for her. As for the punishments in Rine's route, they aren't too repulsive for me, but the last two were deeply unsettling, especially the final round. Without going into too much detail, remember the scene in Cope's party where we see Seiko by the ropes in the bathroom? Well,
Cool.
Imagine that, but replace her with Rine and put Keisuke behind her doing dirty things. And that is basically what this scene is. Honestly, it's not as grotesque as some other scene, but it still made me uncomfortable.
Yeah, she's got the
Rine's
news scene,
route has
right?
pretty much the same progression.
Yeah, I remember she had the news scene. I think I like Renee's her route a little more. She's one of the ones I remember more. I know talking about Kane at all will spoil like the main ending stuff because she's like pretty much tied to it. But Renee's, I also like what she's got going on more than like the other characters. I didn't give a shit about the teacher that much. He's right about, like, from what I remember, Rika being kind of annoying. I don't care about characters that are infinitely annoying. But I'm also very into the stoic, quiet types. So maybe that's just me being a little bit biased. Just a little bit. Oh, okay. All right, let's do it. I'm excited.
As previous route, with minor dialogue changes and one key different. Rine prevents Keisuke from killing Nemu. In that particular scene, after saving him from Nemu, she then led him to the previously blocked doorway they discovered earlier, introducing him to her cult follower. Confused by the situation, Keisuke spots his classmate Ishikawa and asks for details. Ishikawa explained that everyone in the cave are people who escaped Nemu's iron-fisted rule. Rine saved them and now they view her as their leader. In the cave, we encounter Rika again and something feels off. She speaks of Rine with reverence, almost as if she's worshipping her like a god. Rika tells Keisuke that Rine will save them all. Puzzled, he asks her what she meant by this, but Rika just laughed it off, saying that it'll make sense soon. When Rine appeared, we learn a bit more how Nemu took over the school. She explained that Nemu had someone backing her up and she used the collar all around the neck to manipulate the student. Realizing his collar is still attached, Keisuke begs Rine to remove it. She agrees, but only if he joins her cult and completes a ritual.
Easy.
She does all of this because she suspects Nemu sent spies to infiltrate her group, so to avoid any risk, she requires new members to undergo these procedures for safety. After this, Rine launched an attack on Nemu's place similar to the scene from the previous two routes. The only difference here is that Keisuke witnessed the planning and the coordination of the attack rather than just its aftermath. I find it amusing that Rine's strategy isn't about violence but overpowering her enemies through fear. Her followers allow themselves to be beaten, yet instead of complaining, they rise again like zombies. Rine truly proves why she's a cult leader, doesn't she? After the attack, Nemu is captured and taken to the cave, with Keisuke bringing Kane along for shelter. A happy ending, right? Not quite. This is where things takes a disturbing turn. While treating Keisuke's injury,
I think she has more of the
on
fucked
his
up
neck
scenes in the
and
game,
declared
right?
it's a sign and fate. Initially confused, Keisuke brushed it off, not knowing that this is where things get disturbing. It begins with Rine celebrating her victory against Nemu. She then talks about how she will finally open the first gate that led to the promised land, and the key to all of this is Keisuke. It turns out Keisuke is the savior that she has been waiting for the entire time. One thing we need to know about Rine is that her mother was also a cult leader, and Rine initially didn't want any part of it, but after seeing the mark on Keisuke's neck, she decided to follow in her mother's footsteps. She then brings out Nemu and tells her followers to do as they please with her while she guides both Keisuke and Kanae to the basement where her followers are praying. Here, Rine opens a secret compartment on the wall, and what Keisuke saw behind that shocked him to his core.
What that leather do?
Inside, he found a mummified person propped in a sitting position. Rine explained that this person was her mother, the first cult leader. She then grabbed hold of Keisuke and showed the symbol on his neck to her follower. Rine then proclaimed Keisuke is the messiah that her
look
found years ago.
Oh, I love it. Look at her. She's great.
Starts to unravel itself. We learned that
I
when
love her
Keisuke
so
was still a
much.
child, Rine's mother kidnapped him and did something terrible to him that resulted in her pregnancy. You know where this is going. Yeah, the woman in front of him is actually her daughter. After this, Keisuke was captured and Rine have her way with his body. This continues on for quite some time until Keisuke has had enough. He takes her hostage and manages to escape captivity. However, at the cave entrance, Rika confronts him holding a knife. She's become a fully devoted cult member willing to do anything for Rine. Knowing Rine needs Keisuke, Rika decides her own life
I like
to stop her
psychos
from
too much.
leaving.
God damn
But
it.
this doesn't work, and in the end, she pointlessly ends her life for nothing. As Keisuke is about to leave, Rine wakes
Where
up
did you
and
put
tells him
that?
to stop. He noticed she's returned to normal.
Oh, she's covered in jam.
Or that's what he thought.
Must have been
He
some
saw her
good
talking
toast.
to someone, and in that conversation, she mentioned becoming the Messiah herself. This goes on for a while before Rine heads deeper into the underground cave. At this moment, Keisuke could easily escape, but curiosity got the better of him and he decided to follow her. They end up in a large white hallway facing a massive door. Rine excitedly tells Keisuke that they've been chosen for paradise and force him to enter. A bright light engulfs them and the scene shifts to Keisuke's bedroom where Rine wakes him up. We learn they've been living together for some time. Keisuke feels something is off but brushed it off, telling himself it's nothing. The route
Worth
ends
it.
there, leaving
The
us
simulation
with
is worth it.
explanation. So now that all 4 routes are done, we're finally starting the real route, the true story that will reveal what Euphoria is truly about.
I thought it was the.
The true route starts with Nemu, and as usual,
I thought.
the dialogue
Oh,
option
maybe I'm
follows the
mistaken. I
same
thought
sequence
Kane's
as the
route was the
previous route.
true ending
But
one.
brace yourself, because things are about to get intensely disturbing. If I had to describe her route, it's a mix of confusion, anger, and hatred, and a lot of shit eating. One thing you'll notice right
Yeah.
away is Nemu's willingness to accept any punishment from Keisuke, no matter the pain, humiliation, or repulsive acts he suggests.
She's great. Look at her. Look at her face. I love her.
And even craves for more. This makes her punishment downright uncomfortable, especially the final one. Nothing could prepare me for her last one. How do I describe this in a way that most people would understand? The final punishment is something straight out of Two Girls, One Cup.
Yeah.
This single moment
I remember
in
that
Nemu's
stuff.
route made me question my sanity. I'm watching this girl consume unfiltered, unpixelated, but that's not even the worst.
Sometimes you're hungry,
My
man.
real suffering came afterward. Her mouth was strapped open, leaving her unable to close it. And the material that came out was shown in graphic, unpixelated detail. I literally screamed. It moved slowly into her mouth, and the game didn't shy away from showing every horrific second. The worst part
That's
is the
unfortunate.
writing. Why do they describe it with so much detail? What do you mean her throat went up and down to swallow it?
Okay. So I don't know. All right. So, all right. Okay. How do I approach what I'm about to say properly? So poopa stuff, right? Poopa stuff has been around for the longest time, and especially in anime. And I would say that there was an era of anime in the early 2010s, maybe prior to that a little bit, to where if you searched anime stuff online, it was very common to show up. Gore stuff, like the Gorno stuff, has always been around, but like the Poopa stuff, that was always around too. And it wasn't hidden like today. Like I think now you kind of have to really do go searching for that gross shit. But yeah, in that 2010s era, it was just out in the open, and it was like, so if you were to search any anime on like Google or something, you had your your filters off, the chances of that coming up a lot in the search was super high. And it's like, even for like anime maybe you wouldn't really think of, like Azumanga Daioh would be one. Like if you searched up Azumanga Daioh, a bunch of that would stop. It was huge. It was everywhere. It does fit the era, I believe. Like I do think this fits the era of kind of what's going on with that. There's a lot of things now where it's like it's really gross now and really weird. Like he's describing it, where like there's a lot of like poopa stuff going on. And he's right. There's a lot of shit that she goes through that I think's really fucked up. I think Renee, God, I don't remember. I know she does the new start, but I don't remember the other part. I know there was another one of hers that was one of the more fucked up ones in the game. I think Nemu's was just like she wasn't afraid to get her ass beat, and like he said that like it was grosser for her, other than I think it was like way more like violent gross. Maybe I'm not remembering correctly.
I don't like this. I don't like that route one bit. Throughout Nemu's route, you feel strangely inferior to her. It's an odd sensation because up until now, the girl that Keisuke had subjected to this punishment all starts off resisting them, only to eventually succumb to their desire and lust, becoming enslaved to those feelings. But Nemu is different. She never shows any sign of breaking down. Instead, she endures everything and channels that energy.
I think she was like,
Keisuke
"Hey, you're like
She
me."
takes it even further after
In one of the
escape
points in the game,
facility.
isn't she?
You may notice that Nemu constantly tries to make Keisuke angry. If you think that's infuriating, just wait until they get outside. That's where things gets out of hand. After
Touching
discovering
grass
his school
is a
has been
mistake,
taken
yes.
over by Nemu, Keisuke teams up with Rine to overthrow her, but the plan fails and they're captured. This is where his suffering truly begins. It all starts after his capture. This time, Rika is with Nemu. Unlike in Rine's route, Nemu doesn't abandon her but brings her along, which is why Rika grows so attached and will do anything Nemu commands. Nemu reveals she captured Rine by ambushing her at her hideout. She then asks for volunteer. Rika, seeing a chance to prove her loyalty, eagerly offers herself. Well, she might regret that choice because Nemu has other plans.
Feels
Nemu
bad.
commands Rika's decision and reveals her scheme to torture Rine by hooking her to a device. Rika, excited that she's been included in this plan, asks where she needs to place it, believing she's going to do the torturing, but Nemu grins wickedly and tells her that Rika will also be hooked to the device. At this point, Keisuke tries to reason with her, arguing that Rika did nothing wrong and shouldn't be treated
Rika
that way.
did nothing
Nemu just
wrong.
flashed the most diabolical
I said it earlier.
and gives him a choice. It's either Rika or Kanae goes on the stage. Keisuke knows he can't let Kanae endure whatever Nemu had planned, so with a heavy heart he chooses Rika. What happens next haunts me for days. I couldn't look at ice cream without recalling this scene. Without going into too much detail, the best I can describe this scene is, remember the human centipede where their mouth was stitched to their butt? Yeah. It's like that, except in this scene they use tubes. You know where this is going.
Yep.
That's as far as I'll go with the description. Honestly, I wouldn't have felt like throwing up from the visual alone, but the writing described it so vividly that I could imagine it going into my own mouth. For days, I lost my appetite entirely. The rest of Nemu's route is a relentless cycle of her subjecting Rine to
What's
more
that in the background hanging there?
provoking Keisuke.
There's just shit on the wall.
Point, Rine reveals why she decided to fight Nemu and overthrows her. You see, whoever defeats the one in control becomes the next ruler of the school. Rine's plan was to take down Nemu and restore balance, but it failed because Nemu has a spy who tipped her off, allowing her to strike first. After this, we got one final scene where Kanae is forced to become a human laundromat. Again, I'll spare you the gruesome detail, but essentially a group of students hands her their filthy laundry, stained with... I can't do it. Seriously, let's just move on.
Yeah.
After that repulsive scene, we finally reach the important part of the true ending route. It's revealed that Keisuke and the other girls are survivors of a death game that claimed many students' lives.
Okay,
Keisuke
so it's like,
recovering
all right. So being the recipient of said poopa stuff, right? Yeah, weird. Yeah, it's not my thing. I don't like it. But it's also somebody's got to give you that stuff. That's the person I'm like maybe more interested in. Okay, so okay, you want to do the thing, you do. I guess yeah, it's your thing, whatever. But who would hear like, okay, so here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna take like these sheets or this bucket, and I'm gonna need you to do that thing in it, and then just hand it to me when you're done, because you know what I'm gonna do with it, right? And be like, I don't know. I don't know how I would feel about such an offer being given to me. I think I would be more like, "No, I don't want to do that. I could not do that to another person. Please, no." It's like, it reminds me of those. Oh my God, there's like some woman right now, or I think she's got banned from OnlyFans or some shit, and she's the one who did like the 1,000-man challenge or whatever, and she wanted to do like the 2,000-man challenge where she put a thing out where she's gonna do like glass box shit or whatever. I'm just wondering, like, okay, so the person doing that, it's its own stuff, right? Imagine answering that call. The kind of person you might have to be to answer that call and be okay with it. Maybe it's more so it's like, okay, it's not actually directly happening to me. I'm not the recipient, so it's not as bad. But there's got to be a part in your soul or your heart thinking, I'm inflicting this onto a person with others. It's kind of not great. I don't know. Maybe am I overthinking that?
the chaos, disabling his caller, rushing to the broadcasting room, and being stabbed by Nemu. With his memories
I'd let Nemu
restored,
stab
he
me,
returns to the
just saying.
broadcasting room, confronts her, and tells her that he remembers everything. He knows she's been in control from the start. Nemu flashes an evil smile and leaves. As she exits, Keisuke vows to kill her when the time comes. He didn't have to wait long though, because the next day, Keisuke learned that Nemu had taken Kanai. Rage consumes him as he listens to Nemu taunt him about what she'll do to her. Unable to hold back, he chokes her until her face turned red and her eyes bulge. This is it. Nemu is finally getting what she deserved. After all that infuriating torment, we're ready to see her die. Except she didn't die.
Is that before or after where he hands
she
hands him a knife and she's like, yeah, stab the shit out of me?
But before he reached her, someone stabbed him from behind. At first, he assumed it's Nemu trying to stop him from saving Kanai, but if Nemu's the one who did it, then why is she crying? Why is this cold-blooded sadistic person shedding tears for him?
She's very cute, look at her.
As his vision fades to black, one question lingers. Was Nemu truly evil? Well, the truth is, no. But to understand why, we need to go back one last time, further back to the moment we choose a route.
Trying to remember, like, so parts of this are actually coming back to me more and more. Obviously, I don't remember everything. Right? I'm not going to pretend like I know everything about this game because it's been too long. There are some deeper parts in it where, boy, they just like said, we're going to go extreme and all out with this. To an extent, I can respect that, to be honest. Make the game you want to make and the audience it's for will find it, right? I'm not saying everything has to be weird and gross like that, but I can, to an extent, respect something existing. Plus, it's all fiction at the end of the day, whether you like it or not. It's up to you, right? You don't have to interact with it, but whew, there's some rough shit in here. Also, do I remember correctly, Renemu, there's a part in her route where she's like, here's a knife, just stab the shit out of me and do poopy stuff. Knife play is kind of cool, I'm just saying.
You are Takuto Keisuke, a student of Rokogekan Academy who one day woke up trapped in a facility with 5 other girls. When the computer announced the death game, we can choose a girl and proceed to her route. You might notice that Kanai's route is now playable. Remember earlier when Nemu asked Keisuke to pick Kanai as his partner, but Keisuke rejected the idea? Well, now we get the chance to explore her route, the real, true ending. Kanai's route is fascinating because your dialogue choice when the choice box appeared can let
I think this one goes more into your main character.
We'll talk about that later, but
how
for now,
fucked up he
Keisuke
is.
chooses Kanai and subjected her to the horrific punishment. I have to say though, her punishments are thankfully relatively tame. For once, there's no eating this time, which is already a relief. Still, one thing bothers me throughout this entire
I think her route's
that's
more
the
about
sudden
torture, isn't it?
flashback
Like just
of
straight
this
torture.
image. I don't know why they thought it was a good idea to flash this image all of a sudden throughout her route. Like one minute I'm reading through the text and the next minute this thing jump scared me. Is this a horror game? The rest of this route progressed similarly to Nemu's route, except this time Keisuke didn't hold back. When we get to the part where Keisuke choked Nemu, instead of showing fear, Nemu laughs maniacally, which angers him further, and he no longer cares and tightens his grip until he hears her neck snapped. Finally, she stays down for good. As he begins to calm down, Keisuke expects to see Nemu's lifeless body on the ground, but when he opens his eyes, he's stunned to find himself back in that white room and inside a transparent tank. As he wonders why he's trapped there, a girl's voice asks if he's awake. He turns towards the sound and saw a girl in a lab coat who looked exactly like Kanai. What's going on? Well, this is Euphoria's biggest plot twist ever. Kanai explained that everything he experienced was part of a game. They manipulated his 5 senses to create a hyper-realistic game world while he lay unconscious in the tank. Everything, from waking in the white room to strangling Nemu, including all the tortures and punishment, was all a virtual experience.
He was just in the Animus the whole time.
It was all a game, but as he followed Kanai, the truth became undeniable. He's been living in a simulation. Along the way, he met others from the game world like Rika and Natsuki. Rika, much like her game counterpart, is playful and childish, though her real-life personality is slightly more mature. The same can't be said for Natsuki though, as he learned that she isn't his teacher but someone deeply involved in what's happening at this facility. As he watched them talk, Keisuke can't shake the feeling that everything felt real. Despite Kanai's insistence that it was all just a game, he refused to accept it. The sensation, the emotion, the moment he killed Nemu, all of it felt too vivid. Unable to accept it, Keisuke snatched Kanae's keycard and bolts out of the facility. Researchers try to stop him, but
He's just
fail,
like
and Keisuke
John
escapes.
117.
He spots his school in the distance and runs towards it. Now he expects to find his school ravaged by Nemu, but when he arrives, it's eerily quiet. There were no screaming, just the unconscious body of students being zipped into body bags. Moments later, Kanae appears and tells Keisuke that he's foolish for trying to escape. He should have accepted his fate and returned to the glass tank. Then she mentioned that she lost the bet and must take him to paradise. Hearing the word paradise, Keisuke freezes in fear. His body instantly recalls the terror of what paradise truly means. Knowing the
You're gonna
horrors
talk
of
about
it,
the branding
he runs away
scene?
in
Doesn't she have a
panic.
branding
He
scene?
raced down the hills towards the road, running until he spots a farmhouse. Salvation was within reach, but as he frantically knocks, the door swings open and he's back in the facility. Kanae, with a mocking tone, welcomes him back. She explained that she manipulates his senses through the collar on his neck, projecting a simulated world where he thought he'd escape, only to guide him back to the facility.
Awesome.
As if that weren't enough,
Where do I
Kanae
get
dropped
said
in a
collar?
bombshell. She was never his childhood friend. Those memories of growing up together? That's a false memory, planted by her all this time. And not only that, they tamper with his
Yeah, there's
memory to the point where he can't even tell from reality.
oh my god. It's her, right? Where there's a scene. Is it? Oh my god, is this the game where it's like it's them as kids, and he's like torturing an animal or some shit as a kid, and she like keeps it a secret for him or whatever, like because she knew he was fucked up the whole time. That was this game, right? Yeah. I thought that was this. Yeah, that was this game, right?
And illusion. This isn't just evil, it's downright terrifying. Unable to bear it, Keisuke flees again, this time in the opposite direction, only to come face to face with Rinne, or what's left of her. Half of her body is fused to a machine, her arms replaced with prosthetic, tiny mechanical hands stretched across her head, mimicking hair. Shockingly, when Rinne wakes up, she calls Keisuke her father. This meant that in her route, where Keisuke revealed that he was assaulted by Rinne's mother, those were real and not fabricated memory from Kanae.
Oh shit.
Keisuke pressed for more answer, but Rinne suddenly goes berserk, freaking him out. Kanae appeared and took him to the next room. Here, she reiterates one more time that she was never his childhood friend. She reveals that Nemu had been mimicking her action this whole time, so Kanae decided to copy Nemu to become the childhood friend that Keisuke expected. Overwhelmed, Keisuke asked Kanae why she's doing all of this, but this bitch just smiled and said that her reasoning was to see him suffer. She then mocked.
Look at that face. Look at her cute little face. I love her little face. Look at her. She's very cute. Hold on. Give me. Let me look at it one more time. Let me see.
She's doing all of this, but this bitch just smiled.
Right there, that face. Ah, that's the good shit. That's the good stuff right there. Look at that. That's a good one. This is a good one. That's a good face.
And said that her reasoning was to see him suffer. She then mocked him by repeatedly messing with his brain, showing him the kind and caring version of herself from the virtual world. She does this a few more times before growing bored and told him that she is handing him back to Nemu. Kanae led him to a room with a massive door similar to the one we've seen in Rinne's route. Inside, Keisuke sees Nemu sleeping in a transparent tank. The true story of Euphoria unfolds here, and there's a lot to talk about, so do check the timestamp provided or just go through the chapters. For now, we skip to the route's conclusion. 6 months pass and much has changed. Kanae betrays the organization and flees with Nemu. One day, Keisuke deciphers a code Natsuki gave him when he escapes the facility and contacts her. They meet up and Keisuke learns Natsuki quit her job. Together, they devise a plan to save Nemu. When Keisuke discovers Natsuki is a former mercenary, he asks her to train him and she agrees. Time passes
Cool.
and Keisuke completes his training. He tracks Kanae using
just
tools
Assassin's
from his
Creed.
old school, but when he reached the location, it's already too late. He finds Kanae dying in an alley from a fatal stab wound. But Keisuke knows that Kanae is a
Is she in
stubborn
Detroit?
girl, and she didn't go down without a fight. Inside a nearby building, Keisuke discovers numerous bodies of people he assumed were sent to kill her. Searching one of the rooms, he finds what Kanae was protecting, the girl who he promised to save, his childhood friend Nemu. The two reunites and the game ends. So before we proceed on, I want to talk about the brutal and neutral ending of this game. Neutral is pretty straightforward. Just pick all 5 girls in those 5 turns and the game will end with Keisuke discovering that the facility they were trapped in was actually pretty close to their school. The brutal ending is where the game took a dark turn. Remember the flashback we've seen throughout Kanae's route? Yeah, that's actually a foreshadow to the brutal ending, but to get there, you need to unlock Kanae's route and pick every option that amplify Keisuke's darkest desire. This only appears on Kanae's route. You'll know you're on track for the brutal ending when Keisuke starts speaking like a total maniac. The rest of this route is pretty much similar to Kanae's route, except we get to see how Keisuke slowly changes and loses his good nature. It's pretty much similar until we get to the point where Nemu called Keisuke to the gym, which eventually led to her death in Kanae's route, only this time things didn't go as planned because when she asked Keisuke if he wanted to torture Kanae, we get a new option where he agrees, and here's the part where it gets disturbing. Nemu gave Kanae anesthesia so she couldn't feel any pain. She then strapped her onto a table with her stomach exposed. We then see Keisuke approach Kanae with a scalpel in his hand. You already know what's gonna happen. Shortly after, the game master appeared and offered Keisuke a deal where he must overthrow Nemu and become the next ruler. The person then handed him another color, which he then used it on Nemu. The screen fades and we see Nemu with half of her body inside the concrete while all of her teeth pulled out and silicone being injected into her lips. I don't think I need to explain what happened to her, but if you think that's the end, it gets worse as the ending shows what happened to all of the girls. Rika is being reduced to a mere pet who is unable to speak like a normal human being. Rinne became his personal punching bag. Natsuki and Nemu become a doll. And finally, he put Kanae's body on the sofa and preserved it beautifully so he could admire it every day.
You know what? It's okay to love people. And appreciate people, I guess.
So what exactly happened in Euphoria? Why is Kanae the evil one here? Is Nemu the good one all this time? Well, to understand the story, we have to go back to the very beginning, before the events of Euphoria. Before Euphoria's event, the rich and powerful fund a research facility to run Project Paradise. The goal is to extend the life of wealthy individual and politician worldwide by reversing their aging.
Thanks, Obama.
But there's a catch. Age reversal technology doesn't exist yet, so until it's developed, they opt for life-prolonging devices.
What was the
endless sleep?
What's that thing about some lighthouse or some bullshit, which was like the inspiration for Stranger Things, where we just did a bunch of weird like experiments and stuff? Man, humankind has this weird thing of like, I feel as if we know the limits of the human body and what we can do to it, and then we'll still be like, nah, let's do some experiment stuff to see what we can do, just to make sure. I don't know. I feel like over the thousands of years we've existed and science and medicine has existed, we've figured our very, very specific hard limits. I know some people have like differences in how they act and whatnot, but outside of putting robot parts on us, I don't know how much more we could actually do that experimenting on us would actually benefit. Maybe like for different medicines and stuff like that to make sure they work, or other little things. Outside of becoming like the Spartan program where you inject the body with all this bullshit to make it like barely like human anymore. And of course it's always for like the wealthy and like, we're gonna live forever kind of thing. Just like in Chainsaw Man, sacrifice the children to the aging devil. It's fine.
Years later, a girl failed her suicide attempt and falls into a vegetative state. Her parents admit her to the hospital run by the researchers, who sees an opportunity and use her as a test subject. They connect her to a prototype device and discovers her dream-induced overwhelming euphoria. Realizing her potential, they make her the project's core. Nicknamed Sleeping Beauty, the girl is wired to a device, becoming the heart of Project Paradise. Some years later, Kanae's parents joined the research team and invent a device that digitized Sleeping Beauty's dream, crafting personalized dream world for those in the tanks. This breakthrough means they no longer depends on her dream. They can control the virtual world externally with a button press. This explains why Rika and Keisuke experienced different dream world. With one problem cleared, the researchers now look to the future. They know Sleeping Beauty's body won't last forever, so they need a replacement. Enter Nemu. Born in the facility and raised within the walls, her life changes when Kanae's mother frees her. But here's the thing. Kanae's mother is a spy, sent from another company who wants to take the project for themselves. She infiltrates the facility and grows close to Eiichi Hokari, Kanae's father, who is the leading researcher at that time. Both of them married and they have Kanae. Before Nemu escapes, Kanae's mother hides her in the cave section, warning her not to leave or speak to adults if she wants to survive. Luckily for Nemu,
she's got those cookies I like. These blue tin cookies. These are so good. Oh my god, what are those called? What's that brand of cookie called? I know I know there's one that's that brand. What is it called? They're so good. Look at this is a cool little place to live. It's not too bad. You got cookies. You got your entertainment here. You can go catch bugs. That's pretty neat. You got some mangoes and a little radio. It's not that bad. Just saying. It's I mean, if you want to be minimalist, right? You could just escape to the forest and live like this.
Warning her not to leave or speak to adults if she wants to survive. Luckily for Nemu, there was a loud explosion and part of the cave was sealed off. She then wanders up in the cave where she met a young boy named Keisuke. She was afraid of him at first, but gradually opens up to him due to his kindness. Keisuke promised to take her out someday to see the stars and travel the world. He then teaches her to sing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, something that Nemu shows briefly at the start of Natsuki's route. For a while, things quiet down, but
that's very cute.
Goes, nothing good lasts forever. One day, Nemu was captured by the researchers. Keisuke, who was with her at the time, knew that Nemu didn't want to return to the facility and she refused to comply until she was asked to choose either to erase all of Keisuke's memory or they kill him. This horrifies her as she didn't want to lose her only friends, so she chooses to erase his memory. Nemu then continues her role as the next Sleeping Beauty. Sometimes after they erase Keisuke's memory, he was kidnapped and assaulted by Rene's
It's like a fucked up To the Moon
of a religious cult. She becomes pregnant and demands the researchers to accelerate the growth of the Messiah in her womb. They agree on the condition that Rene is handed over to them. She complied and the scientists took Rene and her mother's fetus back to the facility to perform some experiments on genes. Thanks to the experiment, Rene became a girl.
This is just a prequel to Death Stranding.
Like her mother hoped for her, she was considered a failure and her mother eventually went mad. Rene is sent to an orphanage only to return years later as a spare part for Project Paradise. Side note, the headache that she experienced throughout her route is probably the voices from Kanae and the other researchers. Since it was revealed that everything was a game, it could be possible that she overheard the researchers talking about her and that somehow influenced her. A few years after that incident, Nemu was given the opportunity to attend school, accompanying her.
I'm so invested in this. I'm so sorry.
Mercenary
I'm just watching this now. This is a bad reaction.
Hokari, the daughter of the previous researchers who built the dream device. She transferred to the Rokukekan Academy where she met Keisuke once again. The two then spent their school lives happily until one day a murder game was announced. What happened afterward was pure chaos.
Japan loves its freaking murder games. I don't know if anybody knows. I really love the Battle Royale series a lot. I read the books, the Battle Royale books. I've also seen both of the movies and the manga. I've also read a bunch of the manga. They really like their death game stuff. I'd be interested to know why or why that comes about. I mean, I know the idea of it is like it's neat or cool, right? Because you're pitting people against like one another to kill one another, and you can bring out a lot of natural human nature through it, just to see like what goes on. You mean the movie is very funny? The movie's awesome. Fuck you. The second movie's kind of weird. Battle Royale 2 is odd. The first one's fine. Was it like the second one where they have a scene where it's like at the beginning where like, oh yeah, we're gonna make you pay for making us do the game thing, and then they're more outfitted now and they're like doing little like D-Day shit or whatever. It's fine. Number 2's fine. The manga's okay. I really love the book. Like, maybe this is why I'm fucked up, because I read the Battle Royale book when I was in middle school around that time. And I still have it, actually. I actually might read it again. It was a very good book. I don't know. Yeah, Japan loves their death game stuff like this and Danganronpa and whatnot. 999, all those other games. It's really fun. Well, Panty, I'll fight you. I'll fucking fight you.
Keisuke stayed with Nemu throughout the murder game and was about to capture the mastermind when suddenly he was impaled with a metal rod. It was revealed that all of this was planned by Kanae to bring out the Sleeping Beauty. You see, one of the requirements to become a Sleeping Beauty was to experience.
Okay, don't judge me. Don't judge me, okay? Her face is kind of cute here. Just saying. Also taking a drink. I just needed to pause to take a drink. No other reason that I paused there. It was only for me to take a drink. Don't think she's cute, okay? That's just me. No, fuck you.
Experience immense despair and lose all hope for humanity. They try this on her, but Nemu never loses hope because she has Keisuke. He is her light at the end of the tunnel.
Aww.
How hard things get, Nemu can endure it because she has Keisuke to give her strength. But after seeing him dying in her arms, Nemu instantly loses all hope in humanity and was this close to giving up and following Kanae's order, but in the last minute she begged for her to save him. Kanae agreed to do it, but only if Nemu agrees to do a bet. The bet was to make Keisuke hit her to the point where he kills her, but if she loses, Keisuke will be Kanae's pet for his entire life while Nemu becomes the Sleeping Beauty. This explained why she tries so hard to make him hate her. Against all odds, Nemu wins the bet and
That's
Kanae
so
had
cool.
no choice but to honor her promise. She frees Keisuke and he enters the VR to meet with Nemu. The two had an intimate moment, after which Nemu asked him to stay with her forever. However, Keisuke refused and told her he wanted to meet her in real life, not the version in this fake world. So he rejected her offer but promised to save her from the facility one day. Reluctantly, Nemu agrees to let him go since she trusts him. After he escaped, Keisuke trains with Natsuki for a few years and used his skill to save her. He found out that
He
Kanae had
becomes an
betrayed the
assassin.
organization and took Nemu with her. When he tracked her down, he found her dead along with a few agents that was sent to kill her. Keisuke managed to locate Nemu but found out that her memory was erased. Still, it didn't matter because in the end, the two of them are reunited once again. Thank you guys so much for watching. This
Very
video took me
sweet.
a while to make.
A good
There's
ending
a
to a
lot of
wholesome
things that I
game.
need to adjust. There's some parts that need to be re-edited and stuff. That's why it took a lot of time. I'm so thankful that there's people out there who enjoy my content, which is why I
Yeah,
feel so
good job,
bad
man.
in
Holy
taking
shit.
time with my content. But I know I have to do that because I don't want to sacrifice quality over quantity. So again, I want to say thank you to everybody
Good
out
on
there
him.
who take their time to sit down and watch my video, commentating, liking, and subscribing. That really means a lot to me. Anyway, we're at the end of this video, but before I end this, if you enjoy my stuff,
I
don't
did.
forget to subscribe. So
I'm
you
gonna
get
check
to
out
see
more of his
content
videos.
like this. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Check out my previous video if you haven't yet, and become a member to support the channel and get early access and more interesting stuff on this channel. That's all. I'll see you in the next video.
Did I play this? Did I play this for the channel? Because I know I've seen this. Like, isn't this like an itch.io game or something? Oh, that was really well done. What a good video. Yeah, if you're into this stuff or like these kind of deep dives, go give a follow to their channel. That was wonderful. I'm so sorry. I don't know how reddolichee too. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I am so sorry. But that was a wonderful video. Thank you so much for taking the time to create that. Yeah, a deep dive into Euphoria is really fucked up, and you have to have a very strong like will and stomach to kind of get through a lot of the stuff. It there's a lot of taboo things in it. Yeah. Oh, that was good. That was really good. I'm sorry I didn't really talk that much here. I was very invested into what he had to say. I know I'm supposed to be doing quote unquote react stuff, but I'm also wanting to appreciate and watch what these people make as well. I don't know how much I can actually comment on Euphoria other than, wow, that's fucked up, or wow, I think she's kind of cool for that. Okay. Good. Yeah. Oh, man.